All this historic tour action is proudly brought to you by SKF, Bridgestone and their associate sponsors. Round 2 of the historic tour made its way out to Zwartkops International Raceway, just west of Pretoria. There's going to be some interesting racing here today as we pick up on action from the SKF Little Giants to kick things off. At the front end of this battle, Keith van Heerden will basically be the man to catch. He's got a Jaguar D-Type, but as you can see, it's not going to be all his own way. Well, that's if we can just stay out of trouble. Wow, the Harry Pottermobile getting completely out of shape there, and not the way you want to be starting there, Chris Carlisle kits. But I can tell you something, the racing is proper. And onto the braking markers up at Sassel Corner, you can see some big movers happening there from Mark van Rooyen in the Bay Drive machine. There seems to be a little bit of something down on the circuit because a lot of guys are getting out of shape there, including Jaco Taylor. Let's go back down into turn 2 as they come out of turn 1. Melspur diving on the inside of McLeod. McLeod going to go onto the braking markers and try and keep her out, but he cannot do that. Here comes the Sunbeam. That Bay Drive Sunbeam of Mark van Rooyen all over the back of Melspur, like we saw at the International. Pretty much exactly what happened here, except it was raining, absolutely pouring, as opposed to what we got here, clean and clear conditions. McLeod and Spur going at it side by side. Looks like we've lost that Sunbeam somewhere. It's gone missing in the background. We'll have to keep an eye on Van Rooyen has been able to get back on track. But continuing with the action as they go through turn 4 and up towards the top of the hill. McLeod just hanging on, Melspur all over the back of him and trying to give it as good as he gets. Well, the checkered flag is about to come out. There you can see, unfortunately, the Sunbeam on the sideline, and results there for the first heat. Keith van Heerden taking the win in the D-Type, beating out Ishmael Beloy in the GSM Dart. A great run from Stephen Brits. He won out his category ahead of McLeod, and it's Camaro beating Fasaki right down the bottom.
I was caught napping on the start. I sort of got right next to Robin Clark, then he slammed the door and then I was fast asleep. Got him out of turn 2 and then I was kind of lonely for a while. Les McLeod managed to catch me and with 2 laps to go we had a bit of a tussle. Good for him, unfortunate for me, he got the better of me and I managed a 3rd in class, but I see one of the guys have broken out, so I'm really hoping it's going to stand and I'll have a 2nd in class for the race 1.
Moving into the next category now as we head into the big bangers, and of course this is where things get real. These are like blocks of flats, they're so big, these cars, and braking becomes an issue at the end of the race. We go on board here as we head into turn number 1. This is the Indy Oil machine of Ben Morgenroot as they come flying out of turn 1 down towards turn 2. Hard on the brakes, you can see Lee Thompson under pressure already from the outside. Lindenberg on the outside there and putting that big Galaxy under huge pressure as they come through. Lee Thompson trying to stay alongside. He's going to just squeeze through. Maybe a little bit of additional power coming out of the Galaxy. Yes, indeed. But have a look behind. Here comes the Chevy Nova. It's the Toy who's already attacking and looking for a way through there on Lindenberg. He squeezes into turn 4 and up into 2nd place. Lindenberg right on their tail. Then it's Morgenroot. Behind Morgenroot, you can see a hard charge coming out of Kruger. Kruger pushing hard there in the Barracuda as they come up onto the braking markers. Oh, look at Lindenberg closing down. That Chevy Nova is under big pressure and the Mustang is coming. That Shelby means business. Lindenberg had a phenomenal outing at the International at the beginning of the year and he's doing a similar thing here now in the 2nd round of Historic Tour. Ben Morgenroot coming along for the ride as well. This is on board with Jonathan DeToy right underneath the back end of that massive block of flats in front. The Galaxy sideways as Thompson climbs on the brakes into turn 4. Lee Thompson fighting hard there with the Toy. The Toy goes side by side as they come out. He might have the run. Let's see if he's got what it takes on the brakes as he come up to the top into Sassel. He's on the inside. He's at the B-pillar. Is he good enough to get on the brakes? Lee Thompson going to squeeze him. Oh, it's so close. So close there. Lee Thompson and the Toy going at it here side by side as they come into Kenwood. They're going to flick it through onto the left-hand side and out of Mix FM. The mix is becoming real because the Shelby is there as well. We're on board with him right now. This is Lindenberg Racing in that Shelby Mustang as they come down on the braking markers, having a look. Can he find a way through? The only way through is through the middle. And a couple of guys have tried that and ended up in tears. NEG will tell you all about that as they come down. And look at this. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Great camera work there, Peter Lindenberg. Thanks for that, bud. As they head into turn 1, Compendium Insurance Corner, you can see just how hard these boys are fighting. Kruger is not too far back, and Lindenberg has now been joined by Morgenroot. 2 of them very even as well. Mustang on the inside, the fastback just squeezing out the Shelby machine there of Lindenberg, and now goes on the hunt for the Chevy. The Chevy's on the front, but can he keep it all together as they come onto that back straight? They're literally fighting here 2 by 2, and staying side by side through these corners in these big cars is not the best thing to do, particularly when they start to lose the brakes, when they start to get a bit slippery, and that's exactly what's starting to happen now. You can see just how hard the drivers are going to have to work now for these last couple of laps. Up onto the brakes and into Sassel. Looks like Morgenroot wants by. Thompson says, you're going to have to find another way through here. I'm going to use the curb. I'm going to use this massive Ford Galaxy that's under me, and I'm going to make you work hard for it. Morgenroot's going to try to stay around the outside. If he does that, he might have the inside line for Mix. but Thompson is a wily campaigner and he'll just shut the door. It's a big door. You don't want to be slamming into that one, that's for sure. But through Compendium Insurance, Morganhood on the inside. A slightly more nimble Mustang dives on the inside of the Galaxy, and Lee Thompson is demoted down another position. Here comes Lindenberg around the outside. Lindenberg immediately goes on the attack, trying to catch Thompson off guard. You won't do that often. Lee Thompson, one of the probably most underrated drivers in this country, but seriously competitive when it comes to this form of racing. On his tail comes another extremely talented man, Jeff Kruger in the Barracuda, looking for a way to close things down now on Thompson. It looks like the Chevy Nova's getting away, and Detroit is going to try and keep it all together, but unfortunately the two Fords have caught that Chevy, and one of them is Morganhood under braking in the Sassel. Can he get there? Yes, he can. Ben Morganhood on the inside forces Detroit wide. Lindenberg going to try to go with him. You can see just how hard it is. They come into the closing stages, and it's Lindenberg now trying to squeeze out the Nova as Morganhood tries to get away at the front end. Let's catch up with Ben and find out what it was like.
You know, considering I didn't qualify this morning, we couldn't make it for qualifying, so we had to start at the back of the grid. And it was a very, very enjoyable race. We were racing close, door handle to door handle, but I must compliment the guys that were racing with me. Nobody touched, nobody got out of line, people that you can trust, you can race with them, so thank you for that. Other than that, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Ben Morganhood Ford and India Oil, GUD. Looking forward to the second race. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
My aim was to be second behind Ben, and that was cool. It was a hell of a race. It was, I mean, there was a couple of times there were 4 of us in the length of 2 cars. That's how close we were. We were 2 and 2 and going hell for leather. It was a really good race.
It's always great to see these guys going at it so hard, Pete, that's for sure. Morganhood eventually taking the win ahead of Peter Lindenberg and Jonathan Detroit in the under 2 litre class. Robin Kruger beating Poulter and Roger Houston. As we move into race number 2 now, it's incredible to think that they're going to combine the big bangers of the Legends alongside the under 2 litre category and put in the Little Giants all together. So a massive field of nearly 30 cars on the track at the same time, and it's going to be very difficult, particularly when these big cars start to get in amongst the back markers. Poulter looks like he's got the drop in the under 2 litre class. It's Morganhood who leads things out in the Legends as they head down into turn 2 for the first time. Confirmation there, Poulter going around the outside of Kruger. We're on board with the Trans-Africa Racing GSM Dart chair of Ishmael Beloy as we head down into turn 3. Beloy trying to close in on the back end of some of those very fast Cortinas and of course the Alphas that are fighting in amongst the Volvos. You can see Vic Camphor in there as well in the second of those Tom Camphor Volvos. That's the blue one, and he's being sandwiched out there by the looks of things by Trevor Tuck. Trevor Tuck on his outside, and just ahead of him is Robin Kruger. Now, you don't expect to see Robin Kruger in an Alpha, but doing a great job for the Trans-Africa Racing team as they head up on the braking markers towards Sassel. Morganhood under attack from Detroit as they get into turn 2. The Legends are in their house here at the front end and putting on, yet again, another exceptional display of these big V8 monsters. Jeff Kruger just battling a little bit. Remember at the International, he lost the front windscreen. It blew out completely and had to drive around with no windscreen. This time out, a little bit easier for him. Now under braking, Trevor Tuck attacking for the front end, and he's all over the back of Poulter. Poulter trying to keep him at bay. Behind them, Roger Houston. Then you've got Kruger, and then you've got Vic Camphor. So it's 2 Alphas, 2 Volvos, and oh man, such a charge coming from the back end there. As you can see, Vic Camphor trying to close things down here and look for a way through. He looks like he might just be able to get on the inside of Robin Kruger as they come down towards turn 4. Kruger, an exceptionally talented young lady driver, is going to make it very difficult for Vic Camphor to find a way past, and he hasn't done it just yet. As they go to the top of the hill, though, Trevor Tuck goes on the attack. He goes to the right-hand side. He cuts across to the left-hand side, and Poulter cuts him off. Coming down on the braking markers further back, Ishmael Beloy still fighting hard there, as you can see, and he's fighting hard with the 44 car. And that's a man, of course, who crashed out and looped out at the top end, Chris Carlisle kits in the Harry Potter mobile. So there's battles right through the track, and everywhere you look, everybody's kind of concentrating on the one at the front here, and this is the reason why. Just big action between these V8s at the front end. Looks like Lindenberg has just got the better. In fact, the Toy's made a mistake. The Toy runs wide, and here comes Thompson. Thompson's going to dive through as well, so Lindenberg goes to second. The Toy dropped down to 4th place as he gets squeezed out there by Lee Thompson. Coming on the braking markers, Malspur under attack here from the BMW. Very, very tight action between the two of them. Great to see the two of them going at it. And Vota in that number 300 car. Of course, that's an in-house battle amongst girlfriend and boyfriend as well. I wonder who's going to win that out. Oh, look at the smoke coming out of the Galaxy. Big issues there for Lee Thompson. Fortunately, getting off the race line. Something's gone wrong on the big block of flats. And unfortunately, it's ended up on the sideline. Now under braking, here comes Trevor Tuck. Trevor Tuck trying to drive around the outside of Poulter. What are you thinking? What are you smoking? Can he do it? Look at this. Into Kenwood, he's still side by side with Poulter. Houston's in for the chance. The checkered flag's about to come out. It's going to go to the race win for Ben Morgenhout. Peter Lindenberg's going to win out second place and Jonathan Dutoy in third. It's Robin Kruger who beats out Ben van der Westhuizen and Alan Poulter in the under 2 litre class. Great action here at Zwartkops at round 2 of the historic tour. And there you can see Class A in the Little Giants going to Keith van Heerden again. Chris Carlisle-Kitts coming through for second. It's Mal Spur who gets the win ahead of McLeod, and Gamero and Jaco Taylor Sr. sharing their honours there in the C class.
Yeah, look, I had a good weekend. Both races I came third. So in the second race I had a good start. I landed up second into the turn 2. And then I was chasing Ben and keeping an eye on Peter behind me. And then unfortunately amongst the back markers, I have to go to first gear through the second corner, and I couldn't get it into first. So I lost 2 positions, but happy. Third overall, happy with the day.
Second heat, I'm disappointed with myself anyway, because I thought I was going to win it, but it was not to be. I think Keith's car anyway has more, strength than mine anyway. I tried, on the back straight, he just went past me, and then on corners I knew I could take him. I tried, but it couldn't work.
After the break, join us for more race action from Zwartkops and the historic tour. Welcome back to Historic Tour action here at Zwartkops, and you join us for race number 1 here of the Pre-74 ISPs Trans Am Champion of Champions and Sports and GTs. And at the front end you can see it's going to be a battle royal, because it is all about that incredible Lola T70 Spider, and Dutoy is fighting hard here. Not with a car that he'd usually be fighting with, because Richard Schuhart has found a special Porsche that is giving Dutoy a very good run for his money. You can see just how hard it's going to be, because they're in amongst some of the back markers already, and it means that they're going to be fighting hard with back markers almost all race long. Further back in the field you can see also some action aplenty as the 111 car there of Cristiano Verolini goes at it, and he's going at it with Philip Pantassis. Pantassis in that magnificent 240Z has really got a car that is not easy to beat, but you can see Verolini has got to grips with that incredible Shelby Daytona of his. Look at this battle though, Porsche versus Lola. Kind of what we saw in the 70s. Kind of exactly what we expect to see when you come to an historic tour event like this. Round the outside, good drive up the hill, and Dutoy might have what it takes on the brakes. But how nimble is this little Porsche? As he dives on the inside again. Oh man, that is good. Under braking, Dutoy is probably not fought this hard for a race second place and lead in a long time. Schuhart has got a car underneath him that is going to be very difficult to beat, and look at that, forces Dutoy wide. Let's find out from Rich what it's all about.
Qualifying, we did very well. We did a 109.6. We got second on the grid. I lost my brakes at turn 2, I think lap 6. So I lost that position, got back on track. We made the best of a bad situation. We got third. So we're very happy.
An incredible run here from the man from Botswana. Where did he find that Porsche? Can we please get a couple more of those there, please? Because they definitely make them fast in Botswana. Oh, Lombard spun out. Lombard loops out right in front of the GT40, and it looks like right in front of the other Porsche coming through there as well. So a little bit of evasive action having to be taken by a couple of the drivers. No one is going to catch this man though. Larry Wolford has dominated right at the front and has not been caught at all. Lapping in the 103, so he's about 4 seconds quicker than anybody else, which gives him a comfortable win over Jonathan Dutoy. Dutoy come through for second ahead of Pantassis. Then it was Verolini. George Avakamides, the chairman of the board, coming through for fifth. A good effort there. Then in the ISPs, Larry Wolford took the ISP category ahead of Dutoy, and Schuhart, the man from Botswana, coming through there for a third. Ahead of Pantassis, Avakamides, Kleinans and Delay. Moving straight into the BMW Car Club Racing Series, sponsored by Bridgestone. Great to have them as the invitational category here this weekend, and part and parcel of round 2 of the historic tour. Almost 30 cars about to go into battle, and I can tell you something, they hold nothing back. Let's catch up with a few of the usual contenders at the front end of this field.
It didn't go as I planned. I had a little bit of car issues, but it was a small issue. It's been looked at. So yeah.
Went okay. Had a couple of issues with my Vanos. Pulled back power, a little bit in limp mode, but overall fine. I think I qualified second in Group B and third overall. So it should make for an interesting race. Let's see. I'm sure me and Paul have a good little fight on the track now.
Yeah, we are ready for today. Obviously this morning I had a bit of teething problems with the new fuel cell. One of the pumps weren't working, so we had to beg, borrow and steal from all the other acts. But yeah, as the club always pulls together, we sorted. Yeah, ready for race 1.
Sure, and with a Punisher t-shirt on, Warren Dodd, are you going to punish these boys? After that, we'll have to wait and see. As they all get ready to rumble now, I can tell you it's going to be a tight battle. Not particularly at the front end. I think Kuteri might have the edge over the rest of the drivers, but have a look at how these packs start to form up. There goes the Mayfair gearbox machine as it flies through there. Shane Krobler definitely going to be in the hunt, but you can see just how tight it is as they go into turn 2. Very evenly matched machinery out there. You can see great running in all of the classes. We've got a turbo class, we've got B, C, and D here, and all of them going to be fighting hard for honours in their respective categories. Great to have Bridgestone on again. And of course, as they come onto that back straightaway, you can see Kuteri getting away. But have a look in the background. A couple of guys diving left, right, and centre. And it looks like we're going to be in for some big action there, as there's a move there from Loreo. We heard from him at the start. It didn't quite go according to plan. Hopefully that car is now sorted out. We're on board with Everstein as they get up onto the braking markers into Sassel corner. Can he go with Loreo and dive on the inside of the 19 car? Trying to squeeze out Rick Loreo. So the brothers fighting hard. There's no rules in terms of that pit box. That is for sure. On their tail, have a look and see. You can see Willie Erasmus Jr. unfortunately having some problems with his own car, the Viking mining machine, so he had to climb into his old car, the Speed and Sound BMW. Doesn't seem to be worrying him that much, but I know that Viking mining machine has gone really well and did a great job for him as they went into the first round of this championship at Midval. Issues down into turn 4 and a little bit out of shape. Krobler in the Mayfair Gearbox M5 just getting it out of shape there, but hopefully can get back on track. Have a look at this cut action. Oh, it's so good. This is what we always see in the BMW Car Club Racing Series. And there's no holds barred here whatsoever. The Loreos are at each other's throats. Trying to close down there on David M. Kutsia. Kutsia, of course, has had a little bit of extra time here in the Extreme Festival, having to fight in his BMW and a couple of the other categories that race on the Extreme Festival. But now, as part of the Historic Tour and the Invitational class here, these BMW guys are putting on a fantastic show, as they always do. Onto the braking markers up at the top of the hill. You can see the 87 car there under a little bit of pressure. And I tell you what, Warren Dodd, his days are not really going according to plan. Pulls to the sideline. Whatever the issue was earlier on, it seems to be plaguing that car. And he's not going to be making it to the finish line. And neither is that man. Oh no! Rick Loreo's out. Can you believe that? Not what he wanted, that's for sure. Here comes Troy. Troy on the inside. Cochrane looking for a way through. Can he find it? No, he can't, because on the outside it is Hilligan, and they're fighting hard as they head down towards turn 2. Very evenly matched machinery, and look at that. They are just banging bars. It's great to see. Now, a little bit further up the field, it's action aplenty, and Oz Baggioni, the pool man, is looking for a way to clean things up. He goes on the inside. Oh, and he's forced onto the inside because there was a bit of defensive driving coming out of the 86. And Anthony Marks, while he had a big look, Antonius, he comes straight back at him. Baggioni and Marks, this is what we love to see. No holds barred, and 2 BMWs going at it with no worries whatsoever. Continued action here as we go a bit further back into the field. You can see it's not done just yet. Cochrane going at it still. Hilligan on his outside, and now having to come back at him. So we mentioned how even they were the last time they came through turn 2, and it's pretty much the same again, heading onto that back straightaway. Oh, that's not how you go onto the back straight. Salvi Kuteri getting it completely out of shape, but I think something's there's definitely something blown. Look at the liquid coming out. It looks like a water pipe has blown on that car, and it has just caused that car to get completely sideways out of turn 3. I don't know if Kuteri's realized that there's a problem on the car, but the temperature is going to be shooting up rapidly in that cockpit if he's watching the temperature gauge and seeing what's going to be happening. Still fighting though, and no holds barred, that's for sure. Even though he had a big mistake and got out of shape, there's still no worries as he goes side by side with Neil Reynolds. Reynolds and Kuteri. Here comes Hilligan and Cochrane. They are all over the back of those 2 BMWs ahead of them. They go through Mix FM corner side by side. In the background, here comes Lorenzo. Lorenzo diving. Troy doesn't see him. Troy cuts him off. That's brilliant. Absolutely amazing stuff. The leader's coming through and Troy shuts the door on him. Well, as he goes across the line, he eventually gets past with the additional power, but he had to work very hard, and now he's having to work even harder as he comes up on another battle. It's one of the issues you've got as a back marker is trying to hang on, and Kuteri makes his brother run wide. Can you believe that? Wow! Action aplenty in this BMW Racing Series, and it's exactly what we expected. Look at David M. Kutsia. He's realized there's a chance he may even be able to get there and beat out Kuteri, but unfortunately just running out of laps. The flag is out. And it is Lorenzo Kuteri taking Class T in the overall win. In second place, David Kutsia takes Class B ahead of Paulo Loreo and Jan Everstein. Fantastic action out of the BMW Car Club Racing Series, because Craig Ball won out over Antoni Marks and Oz Baggioni, and further down, Neil Reynolds taking it ahead of Cochrane and Hilligan.
Very happy how it went, Anton, Marks and myself had a great ding-dong for second and third. It was a great race. I was really over the moon, and my car went really well. So, yeah, fantastic race.
Yeah, it seemed like 3 laps in, picked up a bit of a fueling issue. The car just basically went into limp mode once again, wouldn't go over 4,000 revs. I pulled over to the side, restarted, didn't make a difference. I just limped back inside to the pits and called it quits, I guess. We'll try our best now to get it going for round 2.
Join us after the break for Race 2 action from the BMW Car Club Racing Series here at the Historic Tour. Welcome back to Zwartkops International Raceway. Heat 2 now of the BMW Car Club Racing Series, sponsored by Bridgestone, as they head down into Compendium Insurance Corner. That's turn 1 here at Zwartkops. And once again, it is all about Cotteri at the front. Where is Coetzee? Coetzee didn't get the start he wanted. Look how far back he is. He's sitting in about 5th or 6th place there with a huge mountain to climb. When I say it's a huge mountain, there are some very competitive cars in this category, and to get by them and try and find a way through, you can see how difficult it is. It is 5:45 in the evening, so it's kind of like +5 traffic here at Zwartkops Raceway. But Willie is on a flyer here. Erasmus is going side by side with Leroux as they go through turn 4. And Leroux, I don't think expected to see Willie Erasmus there, particularly in his old car. He might have wanted to see him there in the new car, the Viking mining machine, but that Speed and Sound and Big Boss car is definitely going to turn a pace, and it's giving Leroux a run. Oh, Coetzee nearly going right up the back end of Willie. Sure, that was close. Davey boy, you are living on borrowed time, but the reason why is that he's pushing so hard to get to the front end. This is an incredible drive coming out of Willie Erasmus, and as they head down the hill, you can see just how hard it's going to be, because he's got Coetzee in front of him. Here's Cochrane on the inside of Reynolds. Reynolds going to try and find a way through there on Gamera. Gamera out front. This is fantastic action, that Winfield BMW, just unfortunately succumbing to the slightly more powerful and more modern day machinery as it comes in amongst those usual contenders in Class B and C. Late braking, and what a move there from Anthony Marks as he tries to find a little way through on the Viking car. That Viking car is Renier Smith, and Renier Smith unfortunately has lost out. Or has he? No, not just yet, but it's very, very close. Coetzee going to try and drive around the outside. He's got the wing, he's got slightly better downforce, and he's made his way through and ahead of Willie Erasmus, trying to find a way now to close down on that yellow machine out front. And that, of course, is second place, Paulo Leroux. Out front, though, no worries at all for Lorenzo. Look at the massive flame coming out that windscreen. The pipe runs straight in front of the windscreen, and he's got a couple of laps still to go there, but he is a good, comfortable 4 or 5 seconds up the road from anybody else. Baggioni just diving on the inside, finds a way through there on the champion. Jan Everstein, no answer to Baggioni's attack. Behind him, looking out for some big action coming through there, and you can see Craig Ball is in the mix as well. Here we go again. It's Cochrane and the 27 car on his outside. That means you're going to be looking out for a big battle between Hilligen and Cochrane again. And looks like Reynolds has joined the party. So it's a 3-way this time, heading to the top of the hill. Hilligen at this stage leading things out. It's Reynolds on the inside of Cochrane. Cochrane late on the brakes as they come under braking for Sassel Corner. But it's much better there from Reynolds. Reynolds forces Cochrane wide, moves up 1 position in this little battle. This, of course, being the fight here for Class D honours. Great action in amongst these 3. And exactly what we see throughout the field. Further up, let's pick up on some action in that mid-pack as they come down the hill and onto the braking markers. You can see just how difficult it is to try and get the lines right now, particularly with the dying light. Craig Ball diving on the inside, finds a way through there on Everstein. And there you go, Marks squeezes out as well. Marks goes with him. Perfect timing there from Anthony Marks as he goes into turn 1. He's made it stick, and it looks like there may be a slight problem there on Everstein. Everstein falling by the wayside, a little bit too much for my liking. He comes back, he may have just missed a gear or something coming out of turn number 8, G&H Transport Corner. And now, no, there's definitely an issue. Look at him. He's running wide out of turn 2. That car is not turning like it was earlier on in the day. So whatever setting changes they went for probably didn't work out. Coming under braking now at the top of the hill, the 171 car, Shane Krubler, diving on the inside, trying to find a way through there on that Viking mining machine. And it's not going to be an easy way through. Renier Smith keeping him very honest, but unfortunately just loses out to Kenwood. Krubler going to try and drive around the outside of Mix FM. It'll be Smith on the inside, the 2 of them side by side coming out. Smith just hangs on. Only just. A little bit of smoke coming out of one of the cars just ahead there, but as they come down into G&H Transport Corner, you can see it is now Smith opening up a little bit of a margin, trying to get away from the attack from that Mayfair gearbox car. Reynolds on the attack now for Class D. Side by side, can he get through there? No, he can't. Hilligen shuts the door. They go down towards turn 2. It's so close between these guys. Now as they come down to the braking marks, Troy Cochrane joining them as well. Cochrane late on the brakes and closes right there. We come into the closing stages. It's going to be a dice to the line between those 3. Who is going to win out? It's going to be very close for Class D honours. Cross the line, easily done for Lorenzo Gutteri once again. Big flames, nice to see it in the sunset as he comes across the line to take the overall win. Larea will take second place and first in the Class Bs as he comes to head up David Kutsia and Willie Erasmus. Osby Agioni taking the Class Cs, and down in the Ds it was Illigent to hang on to beat up Reynolds and Cochran.
My first time ever driving the car, so I just kind of got thrown in the deep end and just kind of go and drive a 800 horsepower beast, But no, it was good. I really had fun. The car's pushing a lot of nose today, but it can all be sorted out. And I just want to thank all my sponsors, Team Sapspeed, FNR Auto, and Vari Racing.
Absolute privilege to ride with these guys. I'm new to the series, but it was exhilarating. You lose 2 liters of sweat per event, but fantastic, great.
Much better than the first round at Midbowl, where I just didn't shape. I came last overall, but today the car was performing. First in the first race, unfortunately third in second race. On 20 and Oz, they ran well. Couldn't catch them, but all in all I'm very happy. The car performed well.
It was great action at the Historic Tour, and we're looking forward to heading to the Pakisa Freeway for the next round of the Historic Tour. That's on the 19th of May. A big thanks to SKF and Bridgestone and their associate sponsors for this action from the Historic Tour at Zwartkops. One of the stalwarts in the BMW Car Club Racing Series and the man who brought Bridgestone on as a sponsor, Michael Broom, bows out after 13 years of service. We wish him all the very best, and all of us here at BMW Car Club Racing Series, thank you for your incredible effort and all the support.